Everyone's finally started coming at you with feels like my first video in several years here. I've been kind of thinking about making videos again, and this seemed like a super interesting time to make a video as a massive ban restricted list update was released for Magic today. So get right to it. There's a lot to talk about. So in standard, there's no changes. Gigantha banned in both Modern and Pioneer. The One Ring and Aim Raptor also banned in Modern, Mox Opal, Green Sun Zenith, Faithless Witty, and Splinter Twin unbanned in Modern, Psychic Frog, and Vexing Bauble banned in Legacy. Anyways, so with Standard, I'm not going to really talk about it too much as they made no changes to it. Super diverse formats. We're getting several standards this year, so format's always changing. There's several Black X mid-range decks like Black Green, Black Blue. No optimal way to build either. We get Mono Red, Gruul, and then Boros for aggro decks. No. And then there's a couple different Boros decks too. There's no optimal way to build the aggressive decks. I mean, there kind of is, kind of get more homogenized, but and there's also like the big man like domain decks that have a couple different variants as well. So there's standards probably healthy for the past year or two. Standards probably been the healthiest. But I guess we had to ban some stuff in standard recently too. But in standards, 3 years now too. So there's a bunch of different options. Anyways, I'm just going to talk about Gigantha and Pioneer and Modern as been both, but it's basically hurting the format's diversity because you can only play single color, a single pip of a color for cards if you want Gigantha. So it's both are going to play no lot of decks. Sorry, in both formats, Gigantha's play no lot of decks. Again, the problem with with companions as cards is the deck building cost of them is minimum. With whereas Banded Modern and Pioneer and Legacy, it's not really a deck building cost to only run permanents with mana value 2 or less now. I think in Modern for the longest time, the only really card we're missing out on was Liliana, which is whatever. And then I guess the Death Shadow threats, decks are losing the Dull threats for a while on Street Wraith, but that's about it. And then Gigantha, you're not really losing much either. And then turns out with Yorion, but well, I guess Yorion's still legal in Pioneer. But with Yorion, it wasn't really a deck building cost to run 80 cards, so it's not bad. Again, like both were kind of played in. Well, Giganta was played in a lot of decks because it was free, so it's just kind of get rid of it. Just open up the deck building decisions. Again, Giganta and Modern, pretty much the same reason. And then the One Ring was banned in Modern to nobody's surprise, really, because it's been a large part of the format. It's not really well, in any decks that were overly pressed, except for maybe Boros Energy, but just one in a lot of decks, so easy, just like recurring, like just like chaining multiple One Rings was just not fun at all. Even like with Boros Energy, you could gain enough life that its cost wasn't really much of a cost at all. Just open up the format a bit more. And then I feel there were a bunch of different cards as detailed in the description that could have been banned out of Boros Energy. The ones they name here are Goddess Souls, a Johnny Knuckle Pariah, Flage, Titan of Death Fury. But they landed on Aim Trapper. I believe the other card that some people said could have been banned out of Boros Energy was also up Pride too. But at first I was kind of confused that they banned Aim Trapper as it's not, I don't think, as individually powerful as the other cards listed, but it just led to some like explosive starts because it was a 2 for 1, so it was really good. And then it also just there's also the factor of just if you spend a bunch of money to get a set of like 4 copies of a random mythic, or sorry, a good mythic that's played, not necessarily random, it hurts a lot more than just getting a random uncommon banned. So I'm a fan with it. We just see if the deck is as busted now as it was pre-ban. I don't think it's going to be as busted because they were running One Ring and they're not getting as many 2 for 1s now. So I can see the format being fine. And we got some really spicy unbans in Modern today. So I'm gonna probably spend a majority of this video talking about that. So we got Green Sun Zenith which has been banned, which was banned sometime in 2001 for some, sorry, 2011. I thought it was on the initial ban list, but here it says at the time there was green decks are too strong and offered a level of consistency and flexibility that was difficult to combat. That really narrowed what you'd play. I mean, I think it's creature based toolbox combo decks aren't really as broken now as they've been in the past. And the thing is, a lot of the important creatures you can't tutor for with Green Sun Zenith. You can't get Basking Brute Scale here, part of the colorless combo deck there. You can't get Yawgmoth or Zulaport Cutthroat or even Orcish Bowmasters in the Yawgmoth decks. But again, but isn't really a key part to the Yawgmoth combo. But the interesting thing is you can get Grist. You can Green Suns for his Grist, which is if you're doing that, it's probably just fine. But anyways, like I think the only other thing that it could be broken in is Amulet Titan, which is like again it's a hard deck to play. It's not really over. I mean, it's when it's good, it's really good, but again, I'm not over. And then maybe Elves could be on the radar again because we got Wirewood Symbiote and then Sylvan Safekeeper in Modern Horizons 3. So maybe that's it. But I mean, I'd be fine with Elves being good because that's again, it's another one of those decks that people have nostalgia for in Modern. It's like a 2015, 2016 Modern. The next one I'm gonna talk about Mox Opal and Faithless Looting after, but Splinter Twin, it's another like nostalgia deck, like 2015, A Girl in Modern. It was banned in 2016, I believe at the same time as Summer Bloom. Out of Titan was banned because, although I don't really think it was banned because of power level reasons, it just was a super popular deck at the time and made some weird play patterns because you just had to keep up removal to keep people from comping off. But now there's more answers for it too. Just in the past couple, we got like Force of Negation, Force of Vigor, and we also got Force of Despair, so those shuts the combo down. We got Solitude, just to name a few cards that can just beat it. But so I don't think I think people will play it because it's Twin and they just want to have nostalgia for 2015 Modern. But I don't think it'll do anything broken. Anyways, the last two cards that were unbanned were Faithless Looting here. So draw two for one in red, draw two, discard two, and flashback two in red. So it was finally banned. I can't remember. It was in for some reason I always thought Mox Opal and Faithless Looting were banned at the same time, but then believe like looting was banned in 2019. But it was because of the Hogak deck that it was banned. I mean, the deck was just like, because remember they banned Bridge from Below just to try and weaken the deck, but just deck just got better. So they banned Hogak and Faithless Looting at the same time. But some of the decks that died for Hogak sins were the Arclight Phoenix deck, Hollow One, and then Dredge. And there was a Grishol brand deck as well that was kind of basically just trying to draw out told like throw a bunch of lands. It's opponent through well draw the whole deck with Gristle brand and then use Barbari Gumus and Rage to throw lands at the opponent, which is I don't think that's good deck's gonna be good anymore because Simian Spirit Guide's also banned now, but anyways, just a few like more reasonable decks were banned because of Hogak's sins, but I don't think any of them are going to be too offensive anymore. And there was another deck that I played a lot at the time was the I believe Mardu Pyromancer deck. But I believe the only cards you were really running white for at the time were like Lingering Souls, maybe like 1, 2 Path to Exiles and Cyborg cards, but so it was mainly a red black deck. And he's like, I think there's a chance Faithless Looting becomes unreasonable, but I don't think it's really unfair anymore. But I mean, we get endurance as well too, which is fine. And then the last one was had a similar problem to Faithless Looting, just like what kind of nonsense could you risk printing? But just for Vox Opal was artifacts. Faithless Looting was graveyard stuff. But I mean, KCI like Card Clan Ironworks deck was kind of the main deck that it was busted in, but KCI was banned out of the format for a while. But then Urza Warhigh Artificer decks were really popular for a while. I mean, Affinity's got a Splinter Twin type situation where people just love that deck. It's like 2015 modern again, so I think people are gonna rush to that deck. Anyways, like a couple of cards to note here that we've gotten in the past. Like I guess in Modern Horizons 3, Wrath of the Skies, and then Meltdown, which are both really good artifact hate spells. So again, like th think there's a chance that both Faith Sony and Moxel will need to be banned again. But I mean, I'm liking how they're experimenting more with unbanning cards. So just some decks that I think are going to be played in Modern now, or just because what do the unbans are probably Elves and maybe like a few other random creature combo decks because of Green Sun. I mean, Amulet Titan will probably play Green Sun Zenith. People are going to play Affinity again because they love that. They're going to probably try some kind of Urza deck. People are probably going to try like some kind of like Is It Phoenix deck or like maybe some kind of Grixis colors. Maybe go back to Hollow One. I mean, Dredge has a pretty dedicated player base. People are going to go back to Splinter Twin variants, but I'm not overly worried about the format. Now, I think it's some reasonable unbans. And this last format I'm going to talk about is Legacy. So I don't think anybody saw these bans. So I'm not surprised. I don't think anybody's surprised these bans were made because both of them are just like unreasonable cards. Psychic Frog here was kept in the format too long because they made the mistake of banning Grief here too late in Legacy, so they kind of kept Psychic Frog in the form for a while. It's really offensive because it's a card advantage engine, threat, and a graveyard enabler all in one card. So it's just like it's too powerful. They didn't need to go. Just ran the Dimmer Reanimator deck was just too busted because you could just discard your threat and reanimate it. You could draw cards. You could do a bunch. You got so big. And Vexing Bulb was the other one that was really broken too, but whenever player casts whenever player casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter it. So he shuts down the Force of Will, Force of Negation, all the I don't know really know if people play packs in Legacy. Shuts down Mishra's Bauble, just a few. There's so many other spells that just kind of are the pillars of Legacy. So it's just playing a lot of different stuff, and then Entombment Reanimate or other cards they look at there. Like I think people were talking about those too, but I don't know. Let's just see what Legacy looks like now. Although I would have liked to have seen other stuff like maybe like a few cards on band or something. I don't know. I wish they got. I wish Legacy got the same format, or the same treatment Modern did in this banner. Anyways, Explorer is the same as Pioneer, Vintage, and Alchemy. I don't really pay attention to. Don't really play Historic or Timeless or Brawl. So, anyways, that's all I've got for today. I appreciate you watching. Hopefully.